Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Yeti. Got Coach Pat Henry in studio. At the end of the show, we didn't get to finish it, but we were talking about the McFerrin 12-degree Invitational. You were explaining to me off air what it means, because there's some places that you can't set world records. Kind of help explain that to the audience.
Well, 12 degrees is the banking of the turn. At its highest point, it's at 12 degrees. That's what the World Athletics, which governs our sport, will ratify. Any record it can't be more than 12 degrees. There's one pretty significant track in this country that's 12.5. Well, they won't ratify a record. Now, the NCAA will accept a performance, but they won't ratify any records there. I think the NCAA is wrong in their assessment there, but it's okay. That's the way it is. But Arkansas's track is 12 degrees. Albuquerque's track is 12 degrees. Our track is 12 degrees. Lubbock's track is 12 degrees. And most of your qualifiers come out of those meets in the first place. So we're all the same.
All the same.
We're not the same with McFerrin, though.
So we had Coach Henry in studio today. It was a great conversation. Check it out on TexAgs.com. Also on the show, we had Ross Bjork. He came in for a half hour. We had an A&M-Virginia basketball preview. That was fun. We had Leon O'Neal breaking down his thoughts on Coach Elko, the newest hire, and Aaron Murray from ESPN on the program. All that and more here on the TexAgs Rewind.
You know, you try not to maybe overcompensate one way or another, because I think that's easy to do, right? And so you say, okay, this is what we had before. Let's overcompensate. I'm not sure that always works. Is there going to be comparisons? Is there going to be things that get brought up that say, this is how this was done, and now this is how the new leader's going to? Of course, there's always going to be that. So we'll probably have that sort of comparison for a little while. But at the end of the day, does the person have the right plan to win at the highest level? Do they have a recruiting plan? Do they have an academic plan? Do they have an NIL plan? Because that's obviously part of it. And Coach Elko's already had 2 NIL meetings this week with the group from Texas Aggies United, and so we're going to, bolster that program even more so. The 12th Man Foundation, Learfield, so NIL's a part of it. Do they have a plan on all those fronts? And can they activate that plan at a place like this? And so the wherewithal to do that, I said at the beginning, right? Hey, this is not an 8-4 job. Does somebody have the chops to do this job? Are they ready for? We just made a big decision to make a change. So with that comes a lot of pressure. Are they ready for that? Do they have the right sort of gravitas? So all of those things go into it. And again, did we get it right? In the reaction, the player reaction, the recruiting reaction, the donor reaction, the fan reaction, the coach's reaction. I was just talking to Ryan Broniger out in the hallway. He's hearing from recruits and prospects and families and coaches going, man, A&M got it right. And so those are the things that we'll capitalize on moving forward.
I don't know if they've been the team we expect them to be, and that's normal for the early part of the year. Couple injuries, obviously. How do you think they have played to the 6-1 record?
Well, I would say exactly what you just said, David, but that's great news, because when you don't play well and you find ways to win, that's wonderful. When they start putting it together, get healthy, find the proper rotations, start shooting the ball better, I mean, we're going to be hard to deal with. I think you and I've talked so much. I'm sold on this team. They're finding ways to win even when they're not playing well. And as an opposition coach, those are the teams you hate to play against, because you really don't have a perfect strategy to try to beat them. And so if we ever put a total game together, I think we can beat anybody in the country.
How long? Oh, let me see how I want to phrase this. Can they navigate without some of their stars potentially? I don't know how long, Boots is going to be out, if he's going to be out, or if Henry's going to be out. I know that Buzz keeps all that close to the vest, but with an opponent like Virginia and what's still ahead, how long can they navigate without those guys?
Well, what's interesting sometimes, David, when you lose somebody that's a star player, sometimes another guy steps up. And ironically, when we were able to win 2 games, or at least the consolation game in the tournament in Florida, maybe we wouldn't have won if those guys were playing and healthy. You never know. So I think, again, it's a great tribute to what Buzz is doing with the team. They're so deep. We talked about their depth. So I love their matchups. The guys that have stepped up, and particularly Solomon getting more minutes, he's just done a great job. So it's a fun team to keep watching and see who's going to be the, as I say, the hero of each game. Who's going to step up and be the leader and the winner.
Let's talk a little bit about Solo, because he looked like a player last year, right? He just needed time. He's getting that time. He's hitting threes. He's blocking shots. He's grabbing rebounds. He's running the floor. Break down his game, what you've seen so far.
Well, he's playing with tremendous confidence, and I think he did even when he wasn't getting many minutes.
Let's talk about Sunday. All right, the news comes down. Mike Elko, your former defensive coordinator, named the head coach at Texas A&M. You were super happy. Tell us the why behind it.
Mike Elko, just first thing first. You got to find a great man like to coach, and you got to find a great man who understands the principles of A&M and has an open mind on how to grow and how to do certain things and how to elevate. Week in and week out, you see him do that at DC for A&M, and you see the growth we had from the time he came here, from 2018 to the time he left to 2021, and you can see the dramatic difference of his influence on players, his influence on a team. Every time people watched A&M, they knew what Elko was about. That's why when he came back, it was all cheers. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Elko, let's go!" They lit about it because he moves in a certain way and he operates in a certain manner. And so, like, when you get to see him come back now and he end up being able to speak, Elko does not like to speak. I don't know if y'all know this or not. Even when he did the Warham, he want to be out the spotlight. He want to coach his team. Like he's not interested in none of the flash. He's about business. And I'm sure him being head coach, he got to be the pinnacle in the face. That's new for him. But that's not what he cares about. Growing you as a man. He cares about you learning the playbook and actually growing as a player mentally, physically, so you can get to the level that you're capable of getting at. He's seen you as a recruit. He know the talent that you have, and he feel like he's responsible for you excelling. And I think he wears that on his sleeve every day he wakes up, and his wife wears it. His son and daughter wears it. They understand. And this is the type of coach that you're getting at A&M. It's not just no like slap on the wrist. I love the media. Oh my God. Oh, he's a slap on the wrist. He's a good coach. He wasn't the splash that they needed. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all have no idea what y'all talking about.
This is a team that can compete next year for a college football playoff spot.
Well, I think they can. I mean, you have a tremendous quarterback coming back. Obviously, get him healthy. We'll see what the receiving situation looks like. I'm sure there's some people talking behind the scenes about how to keep Evans there, or Evan Stewart there on campus. But yeah, there's plenty of talent. There's no doubt in my mind. And I know people are like, oh, well, the SEC is going to get significantly harder with Texas and Oklahoma. And Georgia's not going anywhere, and Alabama's not going anywhere, and LSU's not going anywhere. I get that. Like, it's not going to be easy for anyone. Heck, my Georgia Bulldogs got to go to Tuscaloosa and to Austin, Texas next year. And, we'll see if Carson stays, if Carson goes. You're losing Brock Bowers. Like, for everyone to get to that 12 is why it may be obviously a bigger number than 4 doesn't mean that's just going to be a snap your fingers. We're going to get in there and be able to do it. But A&M has a top 4 roster in the SEC. Like, you put them up there with Alabama, you put them up there with, Texas and Georgia, and, hell, they probably have a more talented quote unquote stars than LSU does. So, could they, with the right coach, find their way into the 12 team playoff next year? 100%. There's no doubt about it. Like, I was high on them this year. I thought they would kind of push in the SEC West, be a 9-10 win team that, would be on the outside looking in, but kind of then would be saying, hey, they won 10 games this season. That's good enough next year to get them into a 12-team playoff. So definitely an opportunity for them.
Aaron, does the Texas win over Bama in week 2 hold the same weight it did at that point, considering that Bama's a different team and Texas right now is behind Oregon in the race to move up a spot of the one-loss teams?
I don't think so, because I think Texas has gotten better too. Like, it's not just Alabama who's gotten better. Like, I hate this conversation from fans who are like, oh, we've gotten so much better. Well, duh, you should. Everyone gets better. Like, there are very few teams that go significantly backwards, unless obviously you have some injuries that kind of hinder you.
All right, we're closing that out here on TexAgs Rewind. Do you ever watch videos on YouTube?
Yeah, sometimes.
What do they tell you to do when you watch a video? They're always instructing people what they should do.
Yeah, join the site.
Okay. Like, comment,
yeah,
subscribe.
right.
Can you subscribe to our TexAgs?
Sure I can.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's Coach Henry.
Just takes time.
Just takes time. Whenever he's on YouTube and he sees this video, he's going to subscribe and he's going to like. He's going to do all that stuff. We'll see you next time.